Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. So, we did miss last week's weekly recap. So, today we're going to do a little bit from last week and some weekly earnings calls from this week. So, let's just jump right into it. We're going to skip what happened earlier this week. So, jumping right into it, and we'll talk about Home Depot. So, they had their earnings call last week. Mm-mm-mm. Let's see. Here we go. So, Home Depot did publish their Q2 earnings on August 19th. And so, if we see here, we're comparing Q2 of this year to Q2 of 2024. So, we look at revenue, revenue is up 5%. If we scroll down here, net income is pretty much flat. And so, what Home Depot did talk about on their earnings call is they're seeing that customers are foregoing bigger projects and they're focusing on smaller home repairs and upgrades. And so, I think that will probably be the norm for quite some time. Consumers in general are just pulling back in terms of what they're spending their money on. And that's how I think for many homeowners, because of the state of the economy in terms of job insecurity, inflation being high, and just so many unknowns when it comes to the foreseeable future. If it's not a necessary spend or project, people are just going to hold off until a future date. So I'm assuming that many customers are only going to do big repairs if it becomes a dire emergency. So you have a major issue with your roof. Maybe you'll do that. If not, some people might just patch up the patch up the roof until they can wait till later and do a major overhaul of their roof. And so between customers pulling back and then also tariffs, right? The cost of goods and services are just more expensive. And so Home Depot is beginning to feel that. And that is why their net income is relatively flat. So they are seeing a slight uptick in revenue, but because their cost to do business has increased, they basically did not improve their profitability from Q2 of this year versus Q2 of last year. So, not the best of news, but it also could have been worse. So, I think for them, it's just a matter of this is now might be the status quo for the rest of the year until we move into 2026, and you will see what the consumer sentiment will be in terms of confidence in the market and the willingness to spend on major home repairs and home projects. So let's see what the Home Depot stock um, what it looks like currently. And why is this screen blank? That is crazy. I don't know what is going on here right now. Hold on, guys. I don't know. Yahoo Finance seems to not be not be working right now. Okay, let's open. I have so many tabs as always, so that might be part of the problem. So let's see. Okay, there we go. I'm not sure what that was all about. So I'm going to share my screen. I believe the Home Depot ticker symbol is HD. It is. This is so frustrating. Why is it taking so long to load? And let me plug in my laptop so it doesn't die while we are on this live stream. Okay, there we go. I don't know, guys. Yahoo Finance isn't really cooperating right now, which is so bizarre. This like never happens, or rarely happens, I should say. All right, I'm gonna try Oop, I don't want to close too many tabs because I need some of this for the live stream. All right, let's try this one more time. Something about the chart just will not load. Okay, let me test it from my phone. And let's see. Let's see, what do we have going on here? So on my phone, it seems to be working perfectly fine. I don't know what it is about the website that it just won't load. Okay, well, let's try Google Finance because we have things to do, people. We don't have time to wait for Yahoo Finance. So there we go. All right, we're going to pivot and use Google Finance. All right, here we go. So if we look at this chart, so currently the stock price is about $407 per share. If we look at it, the stock price is up about 8% versus a month ago. It is down a tad from 5 days ago. So if we look here, the earnings call was on August 19th. And so the peak price was about $407 per share. It dipped just a little bit shortly after the call. So it definitely sounds like Wall Street is losing a little confidence, but then the stock price jumped right back up and it's kind of leveled out. So I think this is a good sign. I think that Home Depot will just have to prove that they can weather the storm in terms of tariffs and also finding creative ways to attract customers to spend more money. So I feel pretty good about that earnings call. So next up, we have good old Target. Let's see. Yep, here it is. Sweet. I believe this is what I want. Okay, so Target also did publish their Q2 earnings on August 20th. And so if we look at their income statement, revenue is down 1%, so not too bad, but their net income is down approximately 22%. So as we know, Target is definitely struggling and has been struggling for quite some time. So I think retail in general is in this tough space where consumers are spending less, either because they're losing their jobs, they have job insecurity. And as I mentioned before, there's just so much uncertainty right now in terms of the economy, political climate. So everyone's being very conservative in terms of spending just in general. And on top of that, we layer on top of that tariffs, right? So tariffs are making things a lot more expensive. So naturally, if people are already spending less and things are more expensive, right? Those who just kind of further compound each other. And that's why you are going to see reduced revenue for Target. So Target is dealing with that, as well as the overall retail space in general. Then on top of that, Target is dealing with a lot of bad PR. So as we know, there have been tons of boycotts in terms of Target because of their change of sentiment in terms of DEI and supporting DEI initiatives within their company, but also in terms of supporting Black businesses and having their products in their stores. And so with that, lots of customers are just moving their business elsewhere, and Target is feeling that. They're seeing less traffic in their stores, less traffic in their websites. And so this issue has compounded over the last year or so, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So right now they are trying to, I guess, pivot, you would say. So they just announced a new CEO that's going to be on board, and they're just trying to gear up for the busy season. So as we know, companies tend to do really well financially in terms of sales in Q4 and going into Q4. So right now, August and September, tons of back to school shopping, whether your kids are in college, high school, elementary school. So lots of parents and guardians are spending lots of money in terms of that. Then we roll right into the holiday season. Halloween, Thanksgiving, Christmas, Kwanzaa, Hanukkah, New Year's, right? So I think Target, not I think, but Target mentioned on their earnings call, they're just gearing up and they're looking forward to having a successful Q4. So for Target, they will have to still, again, navigate tariffs, but also find creative ways to attract these customers back to their stores. So not sure how they're going to do that. This boycott definitely has been very thorough. People are very steadfast in boycotting Target. And so I don't know how they will turn that around, but that will need to be their focus if they are going to improve their financial circumstances. So now, if we let's take a peek at their stock price. Mm-mm-mm-mm. Let's see. So Target ticker symbol is TGT, in case you were wondering. Now, their earnings call was on August 20th. And so without me even saying it, you could see it here in the chart, right? So basically, shortly after their earnings call on the 20th, the stock price just went whoop, big decrease. And I'm not surprised by that, right? So Target, as I mentioned, having a tough time just because of the industry that they're in, on top of the PR issues. And so from looking at this chart, plus listening and reading, well, listening to the earnings call, reading the press release, Target has not given Wall Street the confidence that they need to believe in the company right now. Hence why the stock price has taken a hit. It's down about 8% month over month. So for Target to regain that confidence, they need to knock it out of the park in Q4. Now, they may not improve all of their metrics, but at this point, to regain the confidence of Wall Street, you need to have it be a directional improvement, right? Not every single thing needs to be 180, but you need to have some signs of improvement so you can then let investors know we are turning things around, we're making progress, and now this is what we have planned for 2026. So only time will tell, but Target has a rough road ahead for sure. Okay, so next up, Coty. So Coty is a makeup skincare brand. Audio, but no video. Again? Oh no. Thank you, Richard, for telling me. I had this same issue a couple of weeks ago, and I'm not sure why that was happening. So let me see if that is still the case. Okay. So I can see myself now. Let me know if you can see me and hear me, Richard. Thank you for the heads up. Can you see me now? I just checked from my phone. So let me know, Richard. Thank you for the heads up. I really appreciate that. I had the same, and I'm not sure what's triggering it. I'm not sure if it's because I'm sharing my screen. So I have to watch the replay and see what I think might be causing to have the audio but no video, because it definitely happened to me like a month ago and it's super annoying. So thank you. Okay, thank you, Richard. I so appreciate you. Thank you so much. So moving right along, we're going to talk about Coty. So Coty has a lot of makeup and skincare and perfume brands. So think of like CoverGirl, Hugo Boss, Kylie Cosmetics, Tiffany & Co. So big brand. And so they definitely had mixed results in terms of their earnings calls. So let me pull that up and we will walk through that together. If you have any questions as we're walking through, definitely feel free to put it in the chat. So I'm going to share my screen and let's see if the audio and visual is still there. I'm hoping so. All right, so this is the income statement for Cody. This is not what I wanted to. Is this what I wanted? Mm, not really, but we will. Hold on. This is what I want to look at. Here we go. Okay. So they did publish their Q4 and full year results in their most recent earnings call. So if you look at revenue, revenue is down 8%. And then in terms of their net income, they did have a net loss again this quarter, but it's an improvement versus Q4 of last year, if that makes sense. So we're looking at this line right here. They were negative about 96 million in Q4 of last year, where this year they're only negative 69 million. So still negative, operating at a net loss, but definitely signs of improvement. Now, a lot of the issues that Cody is seeing is that people are just spending less. It's definitely something, an issue that the overall retail space is going to deal with, the overall economy in general, right? People are spending less, and the products that Cody sells are definitely luxury products, right? Perfume, makeup, jewelry, those are things people can do without if they have to make a choice. If I have to think about gas, groceries, mortgage, perfume, the perfume has to go, right? You'll just kind of maybe use essential oils and hope for the best. And so I think for Cody, like many other retailers, they have to just navigate the tough economy that we are in. They will have to become laser focused on the customers that have the disposable income to spend, but not only have it, but are willing to spend. And that's where it's tough to navigate that because of this weird place that we are in the economy. Many individuals do have the disposable income, but because of uncertainty in terms of the job market and the economy, many people are just scaling back because of that, even if they do have the means to spend. So they will have to find a way to get those customers to pull the money out of their pockets and be willing to spend. So I'm assuming for Cody as well, they will be laser focused on Q4 for us, but I guess for them that would be like Q2 technically, since the holiday season is the biggest shopping season. And but those products, those are things you would buy as gifts for yourself or for loved ones and things like that. So we will see. So let's take a peek at their stock price. um, let's see how Wall Street responded. So their ticker symbol is COTY. Pretty straightforward. Now, their earnings call was on August 20th. So pretty self-explanatory. You could tell by the chart. Earnings call happened on the 20th, shortly after the stock price did dip. So clearly, Wall Street isn't quite confident in them as a company right now, but I think they have to just also do what Target should be doing, focusing on rebounding for the end of this year and really speak to how they will navigate and turn things around for 2026 to regain customers, get customers to spend, and then that will help regain the confidence of investors. But the stock price is dirt cheap, $4.28. Pretty cheap. Let's take a look at the last 5 years. Oh, wow. It's been a wild ride for Cody. $10, $9, $6. You know what's interesting about this? Considering how many large household brands they have in their portfolio, I would have thought the stock price would have been a lot more expensive. But that could just be me. Anyway, I digress. So moving on, we are going to talk about NVIDIA. So NVIDIA, of course, they are like the golden child of the stock market right now. Everyone is up in arms about NVIDIA. They definitely have grown exponentially during the pandemic. And with AI now being the new wave, the new popular industry, they definitely are spearheading many initiatives not only just internally, but supporting other organizations in their AI initiatives. So their products and services are increasing in demand. And as we'll walk through here shortly, the financials just speak to that. So let's take a peek. So for NVIDIA, they also were going over, or they published their Q2 results. And so if we see here, so we're going to compare Q2 of this year to Q2 of last year. So looking year over year, which is this column right here, the revenue is up 56%, which is really impressive, but also not surprising, right? NVIDIA has definitely been killing it in the markets right now. And in terms of net income, their net income is up 59%. Also super, super impressive. And so with NVIDIA, what's really driving their increase in revenue, I kind of already alluded to it, is the demand in terms of AI, but also other pockets in the market like robotics and gaming. And so this just definitely speaks to itself. And I know there are a lot of people who invested into NVIDIA early on, and you guys have made a killing in the ROI. So I know you are super happy with the results. Now, I will say though, NVIDIA definitely should be paying a higher dividend, in my opinion. But that's just me. So let's take a peek at their stock price and see what they are currently trading at. Their ticker symbol is N as in Nancy, B as in Victor, D as in David, A as in Apple, in case you were wondering. And so their earnings call, I don't have the exact date, but it was earlier this week. So if you look at the last 5 days, I'm sure it was somewhere on the 28th or 29th because the stock price just took a nice nosedive here. I'm exaggerating a bit. It's only down 2%, so that's not the end of the world. But considering how high demand their products are and how promising their future looks, I would not have expected the stock price to go in the other direction. Now, I'm not sure if this has anything to do with the fact that they have this deal with the White House in terms of, now, this is my high level understanding. I haven't done a deep dive, but it's my understanding that NVIDIA has brokered a deal to sell AI chips to China. But in order for that deal to go through, the White House wants profit share from that. So I'm not sure if that's what's causing this decline in the stock price. Again, just speculating, and I'm also not 100% sure. But this is very surprising considering it did have a fantastic earnings call, at least in my opinion, from a financial results perspective. Also, from a forward-looking perspective, they have lots of things in the pipeline in terms of products and services. So I don't know. This is very, very interesting to see the stock price is down. I thought it would have been going the other way. But again, that is just me. Lost video again when you switch screens. Okay, Richard. Got you. So I think I may have to figure out a new way. Let's see. So I can see myself now. Let me know if you can see. Okay. Thank you for that, Richard. So I may have to figure out a new way to broadcast. So just for context, everyone, I am on my MacBook Pro, and then I just share my screen using the YouTube icon to share screen. And I've got like a gazillion tabs opened, right? And something is happening when I'm switching screens. So I may have to revisit how to broadcast. The whole premise is I like the idea of sharing my screen so we could talk to numbers versus me just speaking to the camera. So when I first started these live streams, I would just kind of have my notes. I would talk freely and we would just talk about, earning calls and things like that. But I really felt like sharing my screen so we could see the numbers, run through P&L statements, right? Kind of just makes it more engaging for the audience. But to Richard's point, if I'm going to lose audio, losing video, that kind of takes away from the replay. So I have to kind of figure out how to navigate that. So thank you for that, Richard. I appreciate that. I'll have to figure this out. I'm really not sure why it's doing that. So I think, hmm, 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 hmm. Okay, maybe I just need to stay on this screen and just copy and paste my links in so I don't have to switch screens. Okay, that'll be my workaround for this live stream until I can figure it out for next week's live stream. So next up is just Dollar General. We're almost done here. So I think I'm just going to take my link from their press release and copy it into here. And then I don't have to switch screens. And maybe that'll be my workaround. I don't know. Let's see. Can I see myself if I open my YouTube channel? Let me see. Oh, wait, here I am. Let's see. Okay, I can see myself now. Okay. That's my workaround for this for the rest of this live stream. Okay, so let's just scroll all the way down to the income statement here. Here we go. Okay, so for Dollar General, their revenue is up about 5% year over year. So we're looking at Q2 of this year versus Q2 of last year. So they're up 5%, which is pretty decent. And then in terms of net income, they are also up. They're up approximately 10%. And so what is driving their growth is they have opened new store locations, so that has helped increase their revenue, but they also are seeing increased spend at the current location that they already have. And what's also interesting about that is they also had some store closings. But despite the closings, the offset of the new locations plus increased sales still led them to have higher revenue Q2 this year versus Q2 last year. So that's very promising. Now, of course, for them as well, they also are concerned about tariffs, but they are navigating that the best way they can. And they too are looking forward to a good Q4. I don't know. I don't really correlate Dollar General with like holiday shopping, but when I think about you, you can buy like wrapping paper, Christmas decorations. So I guess that makes sense when I think about it out loud. So, all right. So now let's just go to Google Finance. I'm going to stay on the same screen. So I'm not switching screen. I think their ticker symbol is DG. Yes. Look at me. I impressed myself today. So if we look at Dollar General, their stock price is about $109 as of close of business today. And so stock is down about 2%. So I believe the earnings call was today. So this makes sense that the stock price is, well, I kind of have mixed feelings about that, right? So the earnings call wasn't a knock out of the park, but it wasn't horrible either. So it's a little surprising to see that the stock price is down. But since retail in general is struggling, it's also not overly surprising. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. So that is pretty much it for this week's weekly recap. I was trying to make up for last week that we missed, plus start off this week. So next week is a new month, and so we will start fresh. So in case you are new here, my name is Bella Jones. I go live on YouTube every single week, particularly Fridays for my weekly recaps, and I go live on Mondays, but this Monday is a holiday, so I won't be live on this Monday. But Mondays, I do talk about investing, so I pick different topics each week, whether it's mindset, investing, whether it's dividends, analyzing stocks, index fund versus mutual funds. Then on Friday, I talk about earnings calls. And I began doing this segment because I feel like people need to just understand the importance of these press releases when it comes to being a stock market investor. I know for many of us who watch the news in the morning, it's like, oh, this company had their earnings call today, and it goes in one ear and it goes out the other. But if you are investing in the stock market, earnings calls are really important. It's basically a way for a company to give you their report card. right? They're telling you, hey, this is how we did in this quarter. This went well. This didn't go so well. Here are the financials. And then you, as an investor, can decide, well, I feel great about investing in them. I don't feel great. Or you kind of make good decisions based upon their report card. And so this is why I do this segment every single week to kind of give you a high level overview of what you should be looking at in terms of earnings calls, and also just to get you more familiar with what this information even is. What is it saying? What does it mean? How to decipher it? And so hopefully you guys will find this information helpful. And I think it's really important as you become more sophisticated as an investor to really start paying attention to this kind of stuff. And so I talk about this a lot on my Monday segments, where as an investor, you should have an investor checklist, right? And so what I call an investor checklist is just a way for you to have 3 to 5 things that you're paying attention to as an investor. So think about applying for a job, right? No one just hands you a job, right? They kind of vet you first before giving you the job. So they take your application, they look at your resume, they will put you through a few rounds of interviews. They may do a background check, references, then they give you the job. So this company puts you through this entire vetting process to say, yes, you are the right candidate. So as an investor, you should be doing something similar. So before you invest in a company, what metrics or what vetting process are you using to decide whether or not you should buy this stock or not? Unfortunately, most people are just guessing, right? They're investing based upon name recognition. They're investing based upon what they're hearing from social media, mainstream media, what have you, or they're just not investing at all. And so if you're doing any of those things, the fact that you're investing is a great start, but you really want to make sure you're doing a little bit of research. You don't have to analyze charts and look at trend analysis or anything like that, but you want to be able to say, this is why I'm investing in this company. I have an idea of why I chose this stock. So, for example, you might say a company has to show me revenue growth, right? That means there's demand for their product or services. Maybe you want to say this company should pay a dividend, right? That could be on your checklist. You also could say they should be profitable, right? There's many companies that are unprofitable, right? So you kind of want to say, these are the things I'm looking for before I invest in a company. And if that company meets your requirements, then you can say, yes, I'm going to hand you some money. I'm going to buy this stock. Now, if they don't meet your requirement, that's okay too. It could be a situation where I'm not investing in them right now. Maybe I will wait to see if things improve. Or it could just be a hard no. Like I'll pass on this. I'm moving on to something else. But the whole idea is to have some way to vet this company before you take your hard-earned money and hand it to them. We shouldn't be treating our portfolios like the casino. We shouldn't be guessing. We shouldn't be hoping and praying. We should have a little bit of confidence, and no one's right all of the time. I don't care how much education you have. I don't care how long you've been doing this. You're going to pick some fantastic stocks and you'll have some pretty crappy ones too. But the whole idea is to invest with more confidence. And that's the reason why I do these segments on my platform, to help people just think a little bit more about investing. You don't have to have 18 years of experience in finance like myself, but you are working hard. You're trying to build this financial future. Let's not use it like, let's not treat it like it's the casino. That's the whole point. So really think about that after this live is over. You have a long holiday weekend. Really think about, well, how can I learn a little bit more before I keep investing, right? You can just spend a little bit of time, and then going forward, you can feel more confident. The more confident you feel, the better you will feel about investing. But the confidence only comes when you start to learn a little bit more. So you see how it all kind of like goes hand in hand. So again, that's my platform. So if you want to give me a follow, go ahead and subscribe. I'm also on every platform you could think of. I'm on TikTok. I'm on YouTube. I'm on Instagram. I'm on Facebook. I'm on Threads. So wherever you're hanging out, I am hanging out there too. So if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me on my social media platforms. My email is also in my, I guess, the description of this channel. So that's there too. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it. So have a great night, guys. Enjoy your weekend. I'll talk to all of you next week. Take care.